Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back here for another video on the One Piece card game. Again, I'm really into this game. I really like it. I know Set 2 just got like released officially in the West, so I'm a little early on this. Set 3 hasn't even come out yet, but all of Set 3 has been leaked for the most part, or has been announced. And so now we got to look at Set 4. And, this card game is really good because, Set 2 just came out. I know it's on Set 3. I'm excited for Set 3, but Set 4 comes out and boom, instantly, I'm super hyped for Set 4. So we have some set four leaks here today. They're really interesting. It's not much. It's only 3 leaders and a one character card, but it has some pretty big implications for the game as a whole. So first of all, the box art here, it looks like it's going to be Dressrosa and also Alabasta themed. But Dressrosa because of course, it has Law and Luffy in their Dressrosa outfits. And then also just we'll get to the leaders later on. But what could be what I started thinking immediately was another Doflamingo leader, maybe multicolored Doflamingo leader, maybe a Fujitora leader. If they're gonna try and make like all the admirals as leaders, this would be the arc or this would be the time to make Fujitora a leader, obviously. And then maybe some others. If you have any ideas, leave it in the comments down below. Not really sure I always struggle to be like, who are they gonna make a leader? Like who is like I guess worthy to be made a leader. But yeah, but I could definitely see from Alabasta some people and from Dressrosa some other people. But yeah, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. But what it does look like is normally there's like two multicolor leaders a wave. So like set one, it was different because set one huge, but it was Crocodile, Kaido, uh, Luffy, and Law. Those were all the multicolored leaders. And then set two was Sanji and Garp. So, two. And then set three is Katakuri and Arlong. So there's two and two. This time already, the ones that have been leaked, there's already three multicolor leaders. So that's very interesting. And two of those leaders cannot attack. So kind of like in set three, Iceberg who can attack. So it's very interesting. And we'll get into the first character. He's a multicolor leader. He is purple yellow crocodile. Now, purple yellow is a very interesting combination because yellow has some really good high cost cards. Your 7-drop Big Moms, your 8-drop Katakuris, stuff like that. So good. And if you can ramp up with purple, so we'll have to see what's released because there's always specific cards. If you're an Animal Kingdom Pirates, your Onigashima, or if you're Impel Down, or if you're what's it called? Galley Law Company, right? Specifically those, you have something to ramp. So if there's going to be like a Baroque works, or maybe if they do something like Iceberg where it's all of his characters, like so if we get all of the agents from Baroque works, they can on KO or they have an ability to return Don from the Don deck or something like that. But we'll go ahead and get to his ability. So he's a multicolor, so 4 life. He's a 7 warlords type and also Baroque works. He has 5,000 power. His effect is once per turn on the opponent's turn when you return Don from your field to the Don deck through one of your effects. Add 1 Don and set it as active. So it's very interesting. A lot of Crocodile in the game, all the Crocodile leaders promote playing events, right? You have your kind of, I mean, what's it called? Starter deck Crocodile doesn't really, but you can play him Baroque works wise. Like if you play him with your Baroque works people, then it kind of they all encourage playing events. And then of course you have good events in blue, and then blue purple obviously is uh, it promotes playing events. But now. This is purple yellow. And what this does is you get what I can see right now, just based off of what we have now. So obviously not that accurate, but just kind of brainstorming. You have things like your Black Maria blockers, your Uta blockers, um, and your Blast Breath, Ulti Mortar, stuff like that. Um, you know, they are immediately amazing. And also, uh the killer from Wano card that they have in purple. Uh when he ate the small fruit, I can't remember the name of the card, but he's on KO Don -1. KO a character with cost 5 or less. So um really good. Plenty of that stuff. It's not exactly ramp, but you get the effects that purple give for free. And you set it as active, so you can spend all your Dawn and then get a Dawn back as active. So like it's like turn three, you go second, you play your queen, right? Your 6 drop queen to get rush, and then you spend all of your Dawn. You have 4 left, right? You don't have anything for counter, but they end up attacking your Black Maria blocker that you've already played. And so you Don -1, get it, set it as active, and then you can Ultimortar as well again. So it's like it works really well. The combo is there. The kind of interconnectivity between purple is good. And then again, depending on what cards they put in, if you have lots of ramp, like in set four, if they give him, let's say, like Iceberg, where all of his characters do all the things, um, so give him ramp, then you will be able to ramp up to your really good high cost yellow cards, like Soul Pocus, like I said, 7 drop Big Moms, 8 drop Katakuri, stuff like that. So it really rewards playing high cost cards. Um, but as long as you get the ramp, kind of like purple works, but getting the great benefits of yellow. So yeah, he looks very interesting. Crocodile is one of my favorite characters in the entire show. So I will be playing him no matter what. I don't care if he's bad. I'm gonna play him, but he looks pretty interesting. Maybe not good, not enough to say yet if he's gonna be good. Uh, but looks very interesting. Next, we have this one, which is very interesting as well. Blue Black Rebecca. So of course from Dressrosa, this is a leader who cannot attack, but multicolor leader has 5 life though. So as you can kind of see, this makes sense. If the leader can attack, you give it either an amazing effect like Iceberg, or uh, if it's multicolor, 5 life. So the ability is very interesting. So it's the leader cannot attack, activate main once per turn, rest 1 Dawn. If you have 6 or less cards in your hand, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to one Dressrosa type card and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So obviously, this is where another reason I'm getting like this is going to be very Dressrosa heavy, because obviously there's going to be a lot of Dressrosa cards from blue and black, and so alright, definitely excited to see what they have. There is definitely not enough right now to know if this is going to be good or not. They're going to have to put out some really amazing Dressrosa cards. Um, but it's super nice, and of course, it's trashing the cards instead of like disc or instead of like putting them at the bottom of your deck, or whatever, um which makes sense. But that's good for black because there are a lot of black cards, especially in set 3, that give you the ability to look through your trash and put cards in your trash places. And then also Perona and 1 cost Perona and 3 cost Doflamingo blocker both manipulate the top cards of your deck. So you can manipulate what's on the top of your deck and then just use her ability, rest 1 Dawn, to draw a card. And you know what the card is already. So, and then also you can choose what card you're going to put in the trash to then play another card to like bring it back from the trash. It's really good. So I think this has a lot of potential, but again, it just depends on what kind of Dressrosa cards they put in the game. Now, speaking of Dressrosa cards, um, we have this Dressrosa card, which gives me a lot of hope for what they're going to put in the game, because it is 7 cost 7K Black Luffy. So obviously this is Dressrosa Luffy when he's fighting Doflamingo, and he's an SR. He is a strike attribute. He has the Dressrosa type and also Straw Hat Crew. So if there's another red black leader other than Garp, or even maybe in Garp, you can what's it called? Diable Jambe this, so your opponent can't activate a blocker. And his effect is very interesting. So A, just base, for no reason, he can attack active characters. That's amazing. Now, this is what he does. Activate main. Once per turn, you may return 7 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. So obviously goes with um even goes with Lucci, but goes with Rebecca very well. You can return the card that you trashed to the bottom of your deck in any order. Pretty good. And then set this character to active. So obviously you would do this after you attack. Then during your next refresh phase, this character cannot be set to active. So obviously it makes sense. He's like worn out. He can't really be set back to active. Um, so it's very interesting to see how this will go. But I think it works really well. Honestly, you don't even have to use the effect. You just attack, and you can attack active characters. Boom. And then when you really want to finish someone off, you can just reset him for free, and also get that return 7 cards. So it's really good effect. He's basically just the kid leader. He gets that ability, and also he can just base attack active characters. So this is going to be a very, very good card. Probably, maybe even like a mandatory in black decks, just because again, he can just attack active characters just whenever he wants. And you can restand him. Uh, so very, very good. Very good card. And again, also he's a strike attribute character, so there are, I feel like, more things to like the specific cards like Z and stuff. The I believe 7 causes Z, where he gets like plus 2k or something when battling strike attribute characters. So it's like, yeah, he's pretty good against strike. So, strike is the, I feel like, most basic kind. Um but yeah, very interesting card. Definitely a mandatory in Rebecca, just because of it's a Dressrosa card, and also it's a great effect, and you can get those cards returned to the trash or from the trash. So very good card. Next, we have something that I think is just going to be game breaking, just amazing. It's blue red Vivi. Blue red is an amazing combination, and or red blue, I guess. But I have been saying this since the game came out, like because I play blue mainly. So it's like if blue red came out, that would be just too good, because you get the defensive stuff of blue with the amazing offense of red. This though cranks that up to the max. So again, this leader cannot attack. It's an Alabasta type. So again, Dressrosa, Alabasta. The 4 cards we've seen have been evenly Dressrosa and Alabasta. So, but this leader cannot attack, right? Makes sense. Dual color and 5 life, just like Rebecca. But the effect is so amazing. Activate main once per turn, rest 2 Dawn, draw a card. So already that's good. Like you don't even have to use the rest of the effect. You just draw a card. Just get some card draw if you really need it. For 2 Dawn. And then give up to one of your characters rush this turn. Um so like I mean, it's, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I'm just actually in awe, because it's like, what's it? You can, if you get like a Pacifista engine going up with blue, like you put a Sentomaru up there, you can use Sentomaru to play a 6k Pacifista, and then just give it rush. And so your Pacifistas become way more amazing. Then also there's stuff like your big hitters, like in set 2, there's the 8k Mihawk, 6 cost 8k Mihawk. Already that is just beautiful. Like, you get an 8k freaking rush character. Stupid good, and you can just attach the remaining 2 Dawn on him, and if you have Nami's on there, you can attach the rested Dawn that you use for Vivi on him. So it's like a 10K already, and then you have 2 more Dawn to do whatever you want. Save it for, um, counters and events, whatever. It's just this is probably just gonna be either changed or banned or I don't know. But even just with the cards you have right now, the offensive pressure that you have, because you can have Rush Zoros, you can play a Rush Zoro, then you can play like a, you know, 3 cost 5K vanilla and also give it Rush, just for resting 2 Dawn. So, I mean, it's very amazing. So I would recommend if you want to play the game and you want to be good, you should just go ahead and start collecting red and blue cards so you can play VV in set 4. Um, but yeah, that's it for all the cards there are, the leaks. But I do have some cards here. I already have some decks made. Just kind of looking at what could be. So this is what I have here just from what we have now for Crocodile, right? So you have I've tested it a little bit. It doesn't really matter though because of course there's going to be cards that really mesh well with him that come out in his set in set 4. But just for testing, just so I can get the feel of kind of how he plays, I've made this and it's basically what I said. You have your uh Kamazo. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kamazo, the Manslayer, right? Um he's amazing because he's a 5K attack with on KO, Don -1, KO one of your opponent's characters cost 5 or less. Like amazing that effect. You get it for free, and it actually, you can do that to unrest a Don basically, and play like an Ultimortar or a Blast Breath next, right? So you get amazing effects. Then I have Black Maria blocker, which is Don -1. This gets 1K. So again, it's the same thing, but it's just more defensive. And then Uta, this is actually a really good one, the Uta blocker, because it rests an opponent's character that costs 5 or less, right? You also get that for free. So, you know, pretty great. And that comes in the film deck and the starter deck. Then, of course, you have your staple like aggro purple cards, or card, which is Queen, and then I put in 8 cost Utas because this is a very like kind of aggro-y deck because it has this Katakuri, this Cracker, this Queen, all giving all my attackers, and then also Kamazo and even this Big Mom. Uh, so it's like very nice to just have plus 1K to everyone. But I can totally see that being changed out for a lot of other stuff. So, maybe not. But I this cracker is actually very good for this, because his effect is when you have less life than your opponent, which if you can get him out early, then you literally always will, because unless you're playing another multicolor leader, but for the most part, you will, because unless it's I guess Rebecca or Vivi, but you'll have 4 and they'll have 5. So also you can just play it from your life, but he gets double attack and plus 1K power. So really good. And he has Dawn times 1. So he's basically a double attack 7K. Really nice. And then, of course, Queen, Rush, draw a card, or not draw a card. Rush, give your opponent's character minus 2K. So just like solid. Um, this Katakuri that gets Rush, and it's 6K. It's just honestly, I don't understand. It's like way better than Queen, I feel like, because it's 6K and it's 4 cost and it gets rush and you can manipulate your opponent's life deck. I guess it's just only if you have less life than your opponent. Then of course I feel like this 7 drop Big Mom is so amazing, and it should just be in all yellow decks, any deck that it can be in, because it's on play. Your opponent trashes 1 life from the top of their life deck, or they you put 1 life on top of your deck. So yeah, I just think it's amazing. If you can put it in your deck, you totally should because it's really nice. It's kind of like also that mind game. Like, if you're up by, I was in a scenario where I was up by one life, right? And I was testing against someone who was playing uh, Vivi. So they had a few attacks out, and they could totally have another attack next turn and give it rush. So it was that kind of thought of, do I think I can go ahead and win the game next turn? Because I also had my board built up pretty well. I think I had an Uta, Big Mom, and I just played the Big Mom and a Katakuri, and I was gonna play a queen as well. So I had a very good board, oh, and a Black Maria. And so it's like, do you think you can win the game next turn, or do you think you need another turn to wait? So do I heal one? Do I take one? It's interesting. Um, or I was up by one life. They had two life. I had three, and they were like, okay, you trashed your life, you know, but I just blocked one attack, countered for the other, and then the other two went through, and so I just took the two life, and then whatever. That was it. That was wraps. So it's really interesting, like making your opponent bet on what they can do. But yeah, and then for events, I have Ulti Mortar. It's a really good event, and it's Dawn -2, so you're still returning one with Crocodile. Like if you play this first, you're still gonna return one. But it doesn't really matter because it's still just an amazing effect. It's plus 2k and also draw a card, and that draw is so worth it. And then Blast Breath, it's just solid. Down -1 plus 4k. Thunder Bogwub, I feel like that could totally be changed out for some other stuff, but solid again counter. Uh, this yellow. Sorry, I got a notification. I do this in one take, but sorry. Tropical Thunder or Tropical Torment. You know, um, it's just, oh, I can't spell. It's just so good, especially early game. So if you have it in your life, it's amazing. If you don't, whatever. But if you can play it early game, oh my gosh, it's so worth it. Just to get that, especially in a in a 4 life leader, just to get them to come back down to your level, like early game. Like, okay, now you have four, we're on the same playing field, and it also trashes. So it's like, just perfect. And then of course, Ikoku Sovereignty. It's good because it's 2 cost and a 5k counter. Um, it's pretty amazing. And then its trigger is also really good, which is if you take this from your life, you can discard 2 cards from your hand and add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So again, like get this from your hand, um, you can just replenish it, right? Or if you get this from your life, you can just replenish it. So really good. I really like kind of the way yellow blue plays. And then I believe I don't know if I have any. I don't think I have the VV one pulled up. I can pull it up though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. VV. So this is the VV deck that we have here. It's very interesting. I feel like it's not optimal for sure, especially with what we have now. It's just kind of like I made it up kind of to show what's great. Obviously, Bartolomeo. Bartolomeo is an amazing blocker. So it's just, especially in red, when you can use Nami's to just give him 2 Dawn, it's amazing. Rush Zoros because it just adds more pressure. You can play Rush Zoro and then you can play another, like I said, decently sized character like the vanilla Crocodile. So 5 cost, 7k Crocodile, and then rest 2 to give it Rush. So you have a 5k Rush and a 7k Rush, and then also whatever cards you already had. It's pretty amazing. Kind of a surprise attack. I have this blue Crocodile in here because you can give it Rush and it has Banish, and also blue events in your hand cost 1 less. Pretty good. I feel like you could totally take this out. I have these Kumas in here because you're pacifistas, so um, it's just nice because you have blockers, and then also your pacifistas can come out for free. Just playing a free card, basically. Overheats, I feel like that's a staple of any blue character if they have blue, because it's just such a good um, event. You know, you get plus 4K, and then also you return an active character with cost 3 or less to the owner's hand. Those little blockers that they just played, right? And then they attack you, or I think the strat is normally to play first or attack first and then play cards, but still, you can take away one of their little attacks. Um, so it's just pretty good. It's really nice. And worst case scenario, you can put back like a deck searcher, but still a good. Makes them spend another Dawn, whatever. Then this 7 drop Ben Beckman, because it's 7 cost 9K. Um, and you can give it Rush, so it's a 9K with Rush. It's pretty amazing. 1 cost choppers. It's a good blocker. I feel like you should just have those little blockers in there. Of course, Nami's. You could totally take out these Zoros, but I feel like again because you can give it Rush. It's a 3 cost with the Nami. It's still just 3 cost, 5, 6, 7K with Rush. It's pretty good. I mean, it's just solid to have in there. Then, of course, you should put the Luffy's in there, the black Luffy's that we discussed. Probably put those in instead of the crocodiles. Oh no, that's for Sorry, that's for Rebecca. Sorry, but for Vivi, you shouldn't because you can't. But yeah. Then I have Diable Jambe in here. I feel like they're gonna put a lot of Alabasta Straw Hats in there just for Vivi, so this will be really good. Because you can give them rush, and then the opponent cannot activate blockers for their attack. So even just for this Zoro right here, right? You play this Zoro, you give it a Dawn because you have Nami, and then it's a 7K attack with Rush that the opponent can't block. And then you can put more Dawn on it to beef it up, whatever. Then Sentimaru's, because of the Pacifistas, you can play Pacifistas. I feel like maybe Sentimaru's are a little bit too much because there's only 4 Pacifistas. Maybe not 4 Sentimaru's, maybe like 2 or 3. Um, but still, it's nice because if it works and like you can get if you get it out early and you can get like 2 Pacifistas out and give them both rush, or give it rush, give like one of them rush, the next turn give the next one rush. It works really well. And then Doflamingo, this 7 cost Doflamingo, again you can give it rush, so I feel like you shouldn't be having in this deck. You shouldn't be having like a lot of 9 cost, 10 cost characters, maybe even 8 cost, because you're gonna want to be able to give them rush if you can. Now, for 8 cost and 9 cost that already have rush, that's fine. But you always want to have that 2 Don to use for Vivi if you can, and then Nami's just to go ahead and put it on something. Um, but then Doflamingo, because you can return a character with 7 or less to the owner's hand. So, like, that's pretty great. Honestly, what you could do is like instead of trashing a Zoro, like this is just something that's super niche, but I just want to point it out. If you have a rush Zoro down, instead of trashing it to play something, you can play Doflamingo and then give him rush and then just return that Zoro to your hand. Then next turn you can play Zoro and it still has rush, so you can still attack. So still, but also you can get rid of Kid, like the 7 drop Kid blocker, a lot of mid-range blockers, and also low range blockers. Of course, pacifistas as well. So obviously, the deck is all about kind of like, I feel like it's good to have the bounce aspect with blue. Returning cards to the opponent's hand. And so you can return those blockers to your opponent's hand, and it gets around like a lot of good blockers, like the Borsalino, which is this character can't be KO'd by effects. Right? Well, guess what? This isn't KOing, so it's just return to your hand. Easy. Get rid of a lot of good blockers with that bounce aspect, and then also giving your characters that you play rush. So I could also see playing some like Marshall D. Teach to bounce characters. I could even see, because you have that card draw, I could see playing like Gecko Moria, because It's if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, it gets double attack and then double attack and rush. Pretty great. So yeah, I think it's just a really amazing, freaking amazing uh deck and like leader. So yeah, but that's it. I don't really have a lot for Rebecca because again, Rebecca is so dependent on whatever the Dressrosa cards are going to be that, I can't really make a deck for her because I don't know what cards are going to be and there's not a lot of Dressrosa cards out there. Like I feel like if I go look here and I look for Dressrosa, right? Dressrosa type. Yep, here we go. It's only Bellamy. It's just Bellamy. So obviously I cannot make a deck that is good because their whole thing is getting Dressrosa cards in your hand with just that Luffy that was released, that was leaked, and also Bellamy. So it just doesn't work. But I know they're gonna add a lot of Dressrosa cards. They're probably gonna add some blue, maybe even blue laws, as a Dressrosa thing. And laws. Every law has that kind of like return a character, play a character thing. So that'll be good to have as well. And then of course that Luffy, they'll probably have another you know, um Doflamingo character card at least. But I will say one thing that you definitely need in this deck are these Pironas because you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order, then return them to the top or bottom. So you look at the top 5, you don't like what you have, right? There's like no Dressrosa cards. Put them at the bottom of your deck. Boom. And then you can use, because you're only looking at the top 2 cards of your deck with Rebecca, you kind of have to know what they are. You can take a gamble because you're not resting a ton um, of Dawn. Like you're not using a ton of Dawn. I think you're only resting one. So it's not that big of a gamble. It's not like Doflamingo, like Wave One Doflamingo, because it is you either know or you don't use this effect. You either use your Perona to know what's going on, or Doflamingo blocker. Um, but if you don't know what's going on, you cannot use this effect. So definitely very important to have Peronas and Doflamingo blockers in there. And I believe in set 2 there was some more stuff that came out for that. I believe it's another uh, Doflamingo. Um, yeah, this one right here. On play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, return them top bottom in any order, and then yeah, you can use his one attacking ability, but you don't have to. And then also this Kuma, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then reveal a Warlords type card and add it to your hand. So interesting, interesting interactions there. But yeah, definitely, they all look very interesting. I'll say that. All of these leaders so far look really good, and it looks like they might have another Alabasta leader, maybe another Dressrosa leader, definitely another Dressrosa leader, because if that's who's on the box art, then it will for sure be another Dressrosa leader. But could we see Sky Island? Thus, could we see an Enel leader? That would be something I would really like. Obviously, Anel is a great character. A lot of people like him. He should totally be a leader. He's not. I don't know why, but um, I like him being a leader. I think this is a good chance for him being a leader, as well as Fujitora, because Fujitora, of course, was introduced in Dressrosa. So, like, this would be the time to introduce him as a leader into the game. Um, but yeah, so that's it though for today. Just wanted to talk about these new Wave 4 leaks. I'm super excited. I really like this game. I really like the direction it's going. It's very fun. It's very cool. But yeah, that's it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.